Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Classic Kit Review time. I say classic kit review, it's not really a classic because actually this was done in 2008. But when you look at it inside, you'll know what I mean, if that makes sense. Anyway, what we got down in here is the Fondair Miniatures 1/48 scale Halifax Mk.III. It's a bit of a multimedia kit. So down in here we've got white metal, we've got obviously a little bit of resin, and it's definitely what I would call a short run kit. But until we get some nice manufacturer who brings us an up-to-date brand new tooled injection molded one, this is literally all you've got if you want to do a Halifax. Now this is the one with the radial engines and not with the inline Merlin engines, but apparently you can get a conversion set for this kit which converts it to it. So something similar to what I did to the 72nd Revell one, because obviously that has the radial engines and I converted them to Merlins as well. But anyway, me and Matt are planning on building said kits this year coming, so in 2024. So keep an eye out for this one because we are going to be building it. So let's all grit our teeth and see exactly what we get in the box. So the box itself, as you can see, it's quite a big old box. Again, it's one of those ones. It's a bit tatty and a bit worn and all the rest of it, but these are going for a fortune on eBay. So yes, so let's see what we actually got. On the box itself, having a look around it, there isn't too much in the way of details, but your kit number for this particular one, as you can see, is 6042. All right, so if you do fancy having a go at one of these. So in the box, we are greeted by a lot of stuff. And is this actually going to stand up? I'm not sure if it's actually going to stand up. It is. Just about. All right, so we've got some decals, and yes, they have yellowed, so they haven't been stored very nicely. And to be honest, they've got chunks and dents and things in them all over this. But apparently the only way you can actually get around this is to have a look at a couple of aftermarket sheets, which are available. But to be honest with you, there's only two options out there, so we'll have to see exactly what you can do with that. Hopefully we might get some more in the future. The instruction sheets are just a couple of sheets of paper, which we'll look at in a moment. And then you are greeted by the said kit. And as you can probably see from the flash and stuff on this, it's a little bit, how shall we say, agricultural, all right? And again, we've got vac form canopies. Now, before you all switch off and think, God, and run for the hills, let's give this thing a fair chance and we'll have a proper look at, we'll see what we've got in this, all right? So again, we've got very, very flashy, not very nice props and things just down in here. We've got the big old tails, and it's all molded, as you might imagine, in one. Some little bits of cleanup are going to be required. All right, and then again down in here we've got, I assume this is going to be a mixed pair, a matching pair. No, not quite a matching pair, but you know, and it has got the odd sink mark. Again, this is one of those kits you're going to come along with me on a little trip and thinking, what the hell am I doing when I build this? All right, and again, we've got some more parts, and yeah, we might have some issues in here. But anyway, we'll look at that in a moment. God, Matthew, what are you doing to me? Bearing in mind, this was Matt's kit, and then it was Keith's before that, and now it's ended up with me. So, yes. Okay, we've got some wings. We've got some more markings. Again, these have yellowed a little bit, so you could try them in the sun, see what happens to them. We've got some resin, as we spoke about, being a mixed media. We've got some metal. So we've got some white metal parts. This is all your engines and things. And we've got some more white metal down in here in these bags for the actual gear. All right, so again, we'll have a look at those in a minute. And some more vac form bits. And I'm just looking down in here because we have got some bits running around, which I don't think we'll worry about. And we've got some more of the crystal clear plastic clear parts, which aren't clear. All right, so starting with the said instructions, which do look like they've just been literally, I don't know, come from somewhere. All right, but there we go. So we've got a little bit obviously about the real thing, about the kit and all the rest of it. So you can have a look just down in there. And then where's one? Well, this is A. So again, looking at the old instructions for this, let me just drop the camera a little bit. All right, so you can see it isn't too bad. There's lots of details down in here, but when we have a look, you'll see what I mean. Luckily, though, we have got down in here, they've got the assembly, the montage for obviously the cockpit, the assembly bits and pieces, and it's all named as well. So pilot seat 7, instrument panel 25, with a compass and compass mount, goes along with the control to column 9. So it is sort of showing you and talking you through what you can see as well. All right, so that's A. Then we've got B, which looks like this. And again, it's talking you through, we've got the bomb bay down in here and the tail wheel, and then putting it all together. Probably not a kit for a beginner, if we're honest. That'd be, so we look for C, where's C, A, B, D, where's C? Oh, there's C, C, D, right, that's right, I'm getting there. E is the engines. All right, so again, this is all white metal parts that are going to be going down into here and then put them together. Again, you're putting white metal parts together, which is going to be an absolute nightmare. All right, but you know, we will persevere and we'll get there. And then as you can see, to be honest with you, the parts are very much similar to how they're drawn, crudely. All right, then we've got D, so that's down in there. And then where are we? We need G, which is over here, so it's with the engines, which we do get, as I say, which is quite nice, separately moulded flaps. Ailerons aren't, but there we go, and the various parts going through. So I hope in somewhere we'll see some parts for the engines, which explains that going together, and down in here. Did we miss that? There's nothing on the engines. I haven't seen anything on the engines. Oh well, hey, it should be straightforward, isn't it? But anyway, turrets all going down there and being put in. And then obviously vac form, not only is it vac form, it's 2-part vac form or 3-part vac form. Just when you think it can't get worse. Anyway, wing section going to go on. At least we do get some wing spars for hanging this thing together. All right, then we got this is actually bombs, if you're wondering what this is. But that is, so it's obviously a cookie down in there. And I think these are probably £500 bombs, those ones going down there. So yeah, it's a £4,000 cookie and a £250 normal bombs as well. All right, so that's down in it. Where's the engine? I'm sort of hopeful that we've got instructions for an engine, but it doesn't look like we have. All right, fair enough. Right, okay, markings for this one. So down in here, we've got H7Q, MPF, and Echo Yankee Golf, just down in here as well with these markings. And then the tail markings, we've obviously got the fin stripes, or you've got the crosses down there on the back. All right, so yeah. Right, where should we start? I tell you what, let's start with the good news and we'll work our way into the rubbish. So to start with, we do get some bags of resin, as you can see down in here. I'm just being very careful because I'm not sure of all the crumbs that are in here, what's a part and what isn't. So I just don't want to tip them out until we're aware, because you might imagine we've got some crumbs in here, but I'm not sure if they are or not. So this is the rear gunners area, and once I've worked out what's flash and chewy toffee and which is the real bit, actually underneath all of this, it's not too bad at all. There is actually some very nice details down in here. I've just got to work my way around it to figure out what's what. But again, that actually isn't too bad. Once that's been cleaned up, we should be good to go on there. All right, so next bit we can identify is the instrument panel, which again is a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, well, I'll tell you what, you guys can put in the blank bits. I think that literally is rubbish. All right, but again, it's a shame because it's really sharp detail and then something's gone horrendously wrong here. I think it's a mismold, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. Wheel well, which to be honest isn't too bad. That's a good bit, no problem with that. Then we got down in here, I assume this is the engineer's panel. As you can see, pretty standard down in there, doesn't look too bad at all. And then down in here we've actually got I think a little bit of wall or something. And then again we've got I think this is a bit of floor, cockpit floor maybe, guessing, don't know. And then we've got another bit of side something there as well. Nice, yummy. Okay, so let's look at the other highlight of this kit, which is clearly the engines, which we haven't got any instructions for. So what could go wrong? Right, there we go. To be honest, how hard can it be, eh? What have we got? Engines, front and rear. So I'm thinking it should be something like this. And again, okay, it's not going to win any awards straight off the bat, but you could probably do something with it. So not too bad. So yes, so we've got those. We've got the exhausts, you know, porcupine exhausts or hedgehog exhausts, which actually don't look too bad at all. It's got all the vanes. All right, then we've got these lumps, which are the tops for the coolers, which again just need a little bit of cleanup, I think, and they'll be all right. So yeah, you know, as you say, well look, they're all here, which is the main part. We've got this one here, another scoop. So you know, I'm just making sure we got all the bits here. We've got these, which I think were the oil coolers. Very nice. So yeah, I'll just count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, we've got all the bits. I'm just making sure we got all the bits. So yeah, it's yes, yes, it's I don't know quite what you'd call it, but it is definitely that. All right. So anyway, that's those bits which I'll pop back in the bag. All right. So again, it's just going to be a case of cleaning these up, getting a coat of primer on them. I think it will be all right. All right. So that's your engines. I'm now covered literally. Are these actually lead? I feel it. Health and safety around 2008. Okay, what we got here is, believe it or not, the gear. So again, some of it's a little bit bent. So we've got some of the gear, got the main gear down in here. Again, needs a little bit, I think that's an aerial, I think, it just needs straightening out. Another bit of gear, another leg, and then we've got the tail wheel assembly. Which, yeah, something, is that radio equipment? I think it's radio equipment. Down in there, we've got a seat, a little bench seat for 2, another equipment, a turret, I assume maybe the top turret. I'm getting lead poisoning from this, I'm sure, but some small areas. Oh look, pitot, definitely a pitot there. More radio equipment. Again, the seats have actually got, I'm hoping, look, texture on them. It's either that or really bad moulding. Hard to tell. So yeah, oh dear. So this is one of those guns for shooting around corners. Let's just try and straighten it a little bit. All right. And again, more guns. Actually, that's not too bad at all. I don't know where the barrels are, clearly. So we've got one barrel. We've got some rudder pedals. Looks like rudder pedals. Look, it's a mystery, because this is all a mystery to me. I've got a feeling that could be the bomb site. Maybe that's the bomb site, I don't know. And we've got more seats, more panels, and the flight yoke. So, interesting. Very, very interesting, as we can see. So, very carefully I'll pop these back in the bag, because hell, we wouldn't want them getting damaged, would we? So yeah, definitely a little bit. Oh no, my gear's stopping all going in. So yes, normally when I'm doing these things, I can pick out details and explain them to you and all the rest of it. What I'm getting here is a sense of dread is overcoming me, because I promised to build this. All right, and to be honest with you, this is the highlight of the kit. It sort of goes downhill from now on. So you'll love this. Right, whilst we're in the close-up cam, let's have a look at the clear parts. So this is the front turrets and obviously back form. So the clarity is not going to be brilliant, but to be honest, it's going to be fine for what we need down in here. I've done videos about doing back form canopies and stuff, so you can take a look at that if you want to. But yeah, I think that's all right. So we've got top turrets, and it looks like we've got 2s of things, which is quite nice, so we can go through. These little bubbles here as well, I assume, are the observers ones. So what we've got down in here is 2 front canopies back to back. That makes sense. All right, just showing you down in there. This is the rear part of the canopy. All right, so it's got like an astrodome, which is what these are going to then fit onto the top of this. All right, and then you've got 2 front. So you do get 2 bites of the cherry before this goes horrendously wrong, and you end up throwing it at the window. All right, so that's those. But clarity-wise, you see, I can see my finger through it. That's a bonus. All right, so we've got those. We've got 2 rear turrets as well, which aren't exactly clear and visible, as you can probably see with my finger in there. You know, but I think by the time you've got it all with the framing on and stuff like that, and it's full of weapons inside and disguised, it'll be absolutely fine. I'm telling myself that clearly. Right, where should we start? Let's start with the fuselage. So there is the odd little bit of flash. like this, and the window. All right, and I'm not sure what these are either, but I'm not going to take anything off until I'm sure of it. What we have got though is a recessed model. So the surface might be absolutely lousy, but I think if you're going to sand all this back, which my intention is, so we're just going to go over this with a fine sanding sponge, because it's got lumps and bumps all in the surface of the plastic, which is obviously where the mold's deteriorating. So a nice sand off, maybe rescribe it, we could even rivet this, and then we'll put it all together. Same goes with the fuselage as well. So if we move into close-up cam, you can probably see what we're talking about. So it has got the odd little lump and bump in the surface, and it's obviously clearly needs all sharpening up and cleaning up. Same goes down in here in the fuselage with the odd bit of flash, which I think what this is. All right, and obviously windows need opening up, but the surface detail is all recessed, and it is somewhat here. Little bit of flash, you see at the front, and the odd little something's gone wrong here. So I think the rescribing's had an error in there, so it's way too thick. There's a sink mark as well, because of obviously we've got an ejector pin down here at the back. Believe it or not, it does actually have ejector pins. All right, so there's nothing on the inside, because think of it like a limited run kit. All right, so same thing on the other side. This side's just a little bit more flashy. As you can see down in here, a little bit of cleanup is required. Dorsal fins, boarding area, things like that. And again, same thing roughly on the surface as well. Just needs a little bit of TLC. And I think this is what this entire kit's going to need, a good little bit of TLC, cleaning up, sorting out before you actually come near it with anything resembling glue. All right, so again, underside, again, perhaps a little bit over scribed, shall we say. To be honest, it looks like how I used to scribe 20 years ago. And again, just needs a little bit. So in some cases, it may be worth keeping with it. Other times, probably worth a bit of filler in there. Go again. All right, so again, down in these areas for the wings, we have got some panels which are raised, and a little bit of, again, the odd bit of flash. All right. Tasty. Okay, so moving into some of the exciting areas of the kit. We've got, I'm pretty sure, in fact, this must be internal details then down in here, which we can see on the other one. But we do get, all right, it looks like it may have been broke, but let's keep with it, keep with it. Engines, so by the time they've been trimmed up and sanded, should be okay. Got the radar underneath. We've got the bomb bay. There's something going on in the middle. All right, and we got these, which fear not everyone, because when you flip them over, it's the internal detail, I assume, for the back end somewhere. Oh, I could be wrong. I'm just looking for portholes. Where's the porthole? So this must be the nose section. But then surely it has a window over here. Perhaps that's what this is supposed to be. The actual windows. Maybe it is. Just needs, again, once it's been cleaned and trimmed, I think we'll all be okay. Again, we've got some more down in here. And then we've got floors, bulkheads. Obviously this is the big cookie, £4,000 cookie. So yeah, pretty sure that's what that is. All right, so we've got 4 of these. This is our engines. So as you see, a little bit of flash around the props, generally, but not too bad. And obviously these are the 250-pound bombs right the way through. These are the fins for them, and the little sort of coffee can on the back. Engines for the cowlings, and again, depending on which one you go with, that depends on how bad they are. But as I say, we've got 4 of those in total. All right, so down in here we've actually got the inboard engines. It looks like we've got the flaps, doors. This is the fillet, which I assume is for the flap as well. And obviously we've got wheels, which weirdly enough, look, they are weight on wheels. So we've actually got weight on wheels with these. So they're flat, a little bit of depressuration, things like that. So this is the inside gubbings for the actual, I assume, and it is in here as well. So this is for the inside of the actual inboard nacelles for the wheel wells. So you've got some framing work, we've got the floor as it comes up, bulkheads, things like that, right the way through. And again, locating pins are a little bit devoid of anything, and obviously we've got the tail wheel. So, okay, but we don't have ejector pin marks inside the wheel wells. Bonus. Hey, look, you have to take what you can. It is a match pair for the other side. So this one's exactly the same for the other side. And then we've got down in here the actual rear stabs. And again, it's one piece. And again, what I'll probably end up doing is coming in here and cutting these, razor saw in these, so they're actually defined more. And in theory, you could cut them out completely and have them as a movable part down into it. Same goes for the rudder if you wanted to do it. I should think the rudder's probably easier to leave it in one. The only saving grace with this, at least it hasn't got any massive sink marks in it. It's just covered in flash, which means you're just going to have take a lot. But if you look at the sprue, it's absolutely loaded with sink marks all the way through. So that's the thing with it. I'm just, aware of. So, but yeah, we will make this work. This is a build after all, and again, just needs a little bit of trimming up, a little bit of deflashing, and then last up over here, we've got the other wing, which actually doesn't look too bad at all. Looks pretty good. And last up, we have got some normal injection molded clear parts for the windows. Now, are they clear? I think they're more like a toilet window than clear. But again, a little bit of polishing may be the key to this. So we might try and polish these up, because technically it's a little bit like frosted windows. So rather than clear ones. But again, I think perhaps we'll give it a whirl. We'll try and polish these up, see if we can get them looking any better. So then hopefully we can see some of that detail on the inside. So, what do you think? This is the project for next year as possibly a live build over the course of 2 years, I reckon. It's going to take a year to clear up all the parts. I know I'm exaggerating and I'm playing with you a little bit on this one. And at the end of the day, this is one of those ones we say on all of our shows. It's like, what else are you going to build? Unless you're going to build a vac form one, this is the only injection molded, loosely, available 1/48 scale kit. And say available, not really. They go for 200 quid plus on eBay at the moment. We are hopeful one day we might get somebody like Hobby Boss come along, or someone else, because Hobby Boss doing the B24 in 48 scale. God, let's hope somebody like, HK Models do one. That would be lovely as well. To get a nice brand new tooled Halifax. I've got a personal connection to Halifax because I had a relative of mine who was killed in a Halifax during the war. And so there is that little bit of connection, and I've looked at building them before and doing a tribute and that, but yeah, nothing's really come along to sort of light my fire to be able to actually get on and do one. But that said, we are going to make this one work. I am going to go round. I think really this is one of those ones where you've got all the items in front of you. You just need to put your mind to it and get it all sorted. Step one, I would get rid of all the flash, take all the parts off, number them on the inside so you know what you've got, clean up all these parts, make them all crisp and that, and then go through, rescribe absolutely everything so you've got it all where you want it to be. Because to be honest, this side, I show you, there is a difference. This side isn't too bad. The other side was horrendous on the actual scribing on it. This side's not too bad at all. It's quite normal and crisp. So again, it's just little things like that to even it up, make sure you're all good. And then I think once you've got it all rescribed and you're happy, I would just very fine polishing, sandpaper, and polish up all the parts so they're all nice and even and ready to go. Again, make sure these mating surfaces, they're all squared and flat, no sink marks in them and all the rest of it. Once that's done, this kit will just go up a couple of levels anyway, because it'll be a clean, straightforward kit then to actually put together. There's not a ton of parts. You are dealing with mixed media. We've got a lot of resin down in here, and again, some of this is going to need a little bit of TLC, obviously that instrument panel being somewhat of a mismold, and again, sorting out these metal parts to go through. How are you going to connect the metal to the metal? Are you going to just super glue it? Probably will do. You're going to PVA glue it? Are you going to solder it? There's different options for doing those, but again, those ones at least are all quite straightforward. They just need tidying up. I think by the time they've been tidied up, get a coat of primer onto them, you should be okay. I think it's actually going to look quite nice. Again, the resin parts, once they're tidied up, get a coat of primer onto it, it'll be a different ball game. The only thing that's going to be the small problem, I think, is the back form parts. Luckily, the big ones, the turrets and the actual main canopy area, things like that, and the front, the vac form actually isn't too bad. So I think we can get away with that as well. But again, you can't really go around and change these. Once these are in, it's the quality of the plastic. So you are really caught with what you've got. But a really nice sharp masking job on the canopy, get that framework nice and sharp and all the rest of it. Make sure it's a good fit as well. And luckily you do get spares. So if you cock one up, you can just go along and go with a second one. So don't write off these kits. I know I've just made a complete joke of it and pulling my teeth out, but actually by the time it's all sorted and done, it won't be that bad. It's going to be one of those kits. Lots of preparation. You're going to spend more time getting this cleaned up and ready to go before building it than you probably will do putting it together, because it's going to be a long drawn out job. But once it is together, actually, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It should go together quite well. If you do want to see me fight with this, please subscribe, because obviously some point during next year, I will be actually doing this kit as part of live shows over the course of it. So they'll be free to watch. You can follow along and you can see me pull my hair out putting this thing together next year. Anyway, that is the Fondair Miniatures 1/48 scale Halifax.